Hey, today we're going to talk about practice number 2. This is type 1 binary nomenclature, practice sheet number 2, and we're going to explain how to do this a little bit again and maybe a reminder for some of you. Now, when we do binary ionic compounds, we said binary. Type 1 means that it is ionic, and that means that they are going to have charges. So remember, when we have the formula and we say the name, all we have to do is say the name. They're pretty simple in that aspect because the compound itself or the formula itself is already balanced. It means that the positive charges have canceled out the negative charges from the cations and the anions. So let's just go ahead and look at the first one. We see KCl. Now, how do we answer that one right there when we go ahead and are naming the compound? Well, for the type 1, again, all we have to do is take the metal and name whatever the metal is. And then the non-metal, we are going to change the ending to "ide." So let's go ahead and look at the periodic table. So let's pull that back up. Here's our periodic table. We had K. K is potassium. So we're just going to write down potassium. And then we have Cl. And Cl, we're just going to change the ending to "ide." So instead of chlorine, it would be chloride. So let's go ahead and go back to this. So we just come in here and type in potassium and then chloride. Now, if you put chlorine-ide, well, a couple times now, we're in our second practice sheet, so we should be getting away from that. So I just want to let you know that we should be changing to what the correct spelling is, or be pretty close to it. Let's do another one. Let's go down to MgCl2. Now, I don't have to put anything for the 2. Again, in the type 1s, we just have to say what they are. So we find Mg, whatever that metal is, we name it, and then when the Cl again is going to end up being chloride. So let's go ahead and find Mg. Well, there's Mn. Okay, well, there's Mg right there. It is magnesium. So we're going to call this one magnesium, and then even though there's 2 chlorines, we're going to just call it chloride. So let's go back to this one, and so we're going to type in here magnesium and then chloride. The only reason the 2 is here is because of the charge of the magnesium. Remember, potassium was a +1 and magnesium is a +2. And since chlorine is a -1, we only need 1 of each one. But here I have to have 2 chlorines to make up for that 1 magnesium. So let's go ahead and do another one. Let's do Na3N. So we just find the name for Na, and we find the name for N. So let's go to our periodic table. Na is sodium, so that's the first part. And N is nitrogen, but we're going to change it to ide. So again, we're going to call this one sodium nitride. And that would be the answer for that one. Okay, I'm going to let you finish the rest of these ones on your own. Let's skip down to where we're going to create the formula. Now, I already have a couple of things in here in the formula. So again, I have calcium hydride. Well, calcium is a +2, and hydrogen is a -1 or hydride. And so, but notice they don't cancel each other out. So what do? Well, we crisscross. So we come down here, and I can put a 1 right here. Okay, and I'm just going to make that a subscript. And we're going to come over here and put a subscript of a 2. So we don't put the charges, but we put the numbers. So that's our formula, but we never write down 1. So when I come over here and put it in there, I'm going to put I got to find calcium and hydrogen. So let's go back here. Well, here's calcium is Ca, and hydrogen is right up there. So hydride is right up there. It is above the staircase. So we're going to put Ca, and then we're going to put H, and we need 2 of them. So we're going to put a subscript 2. Now, how do we do that? How do we get that subscript? Well, we get the subscript by holding down the control and hitting the less than symbol. Okay, so hold down control, hit the less than symbol, okay, and you'll be able to get it. Now, if I want it back up to a full one, I got the less than symbol, and it'll go right back up. So that's how we do that one. Let's look at the next one. We have MgF. Now, how did I find the +2 charge? Well, if I go to my periodic table, Mg is in column 2, so it's a +2. And then F of fluorine is over here, and this is in column 7A. It wants to get to neon, so it needs to add 1 electron, so that's going to be a -1. So let's go back to this. They do not cancel, so we're going to flip-flop. So I'm going to put a number in here, and that's going to be a subscript of 1. And then over here, we're going to have the 2 is going to come over, so we're going to put a subscript on 2. So we're going to put the symbol for magnesium, which is Mg, as we looked at. Magnesium is Mg, fluorine is F. So we can go in here and put Mg. I only need 1 of them, so we don't put anything. Then we put a capital F for our fluorine, but we need 2 of those, so we have to put a subscript of 2. Okay, let's go down a little bit down further. Let's find silver sulfide. Silver sulfide. We got to figure out what the charges are first. So let's go back here, and I see silver is right here. Well, it's not in an A group. So what do I do? Well, we go to page 12 in our packet and see if it's one of those exceptions. If it's not, it's in the wrong page. So here's page 12. Silver is right here. So silver is a +1. It is one of the exceptions. Remember, type 1 means column 1, column 2, and column 3A. And here's the other exceptions. If it falls anywhere in the blue, that means it's a type 2. Okay, so we have one of these ones that are white, and we have one above the staircase. So let's go back. We did silver was going to be a +1. Now we have to go over to sulfur, or sulfide is sulfur. So let's go back to this, and let's find it right here. That's S. Let's double check and make sure that it's S is the symbol for sulfur. So here we go. There we go. It is. S is the symbol for sulfur. That was the same as oxygen. So this is a -2. But again, how did we get -2? We can get it off from page 12, but we can also say that it's going to add 2 negative electrons. Why 2? 1, 2 gets it over to the noble gas electron configuration. So sulfur is going to be a -2. So let's go back to our thing here, and we're going to put in a -2. Now they don't cancel each other out, so we crisscross, and so we're going to put a subscript of a 2 in there, and over here we're going to put a subscript of a 1. Now, when we go ahead and write out the formula, we don't use any type of 1. So let's go ahead and put in here. So silver, if you remember, go back here, silver was Ag, and sulfur is S. So we're going to put Ag, capital A, lowercase g. We have to put a subscript of a 2 in there because we need 2 silvers. And then we have to enlarge that again, and we have to do 1 sulfur. So we're just going to put the symbol for sulfur, no subscript. There is silver sulfide. Okay. Well, that's how you answer those ones there. Again, if you have any other questions on any of these, you can ask in class. Okay, don't be afraid to do that. Hey, as always, go Mohawks. Nelson out.